It's interesting because during this month of May in which we celebrate Mother's Day, the month of May has also been a traditional month for celebrating Mary, the Mother of God. Have we heard that before? So May is a traditional month for celebrating Mary. So you have to take a look at some of our deacons today. Deacon Roy, Deacon Cleophas, what color are they wearing today? You notice they're wearing blue, which is the traditional color of Mary, whose traditional month we celebrate during the month of May. Are any of us old enough to remember May crownings? May crownings? On May the 1st, we used to have a special ceremony where we put a special crown on Mary, and we brought flowers to Mary. Any of us old enough to remember May crownings?
Yes.
That was an old tradition that we had as a church to kick off the month of May, which for us was the month of Mary. So when did this month of May, being dedicated to Mary, arise? Only since we celebrated Mother's Day in May? No, actually, we've been celebrating Mary during the month of May. May is a special month for Mary since the 13th century. That would be the 1200s. That would be almost 800 years that we've been celebrating May as a special month dedicated to Mary since the 13th century. In the 16th century, since the 16th century, we've had books and devotionals that talk about May as a month dedicated to Mary. So in the 16th century, we had books talking about how it was that May is a month dedicated to Mary. But then Pope Pius VII in 1815, so 200 years ago this year, he declared that May was a special month for Mary and that you would get a special indulgence for celebrating Mary during the month of May. Do we remember what an indulgence is? What's an indulgence? An indulgence means that you get time out of where? Time out of purgatory for celebrating Mary during May. So that was Pius VII, 1815, 200 years ago this year, who said, if you celebrate Mary during the month of May, you get time out of purgatory. You get an indulgence. Yikes. Remember, that's what split the church back in the 16th century, was the fact that this good priest, Father Martin Luther, now Saint Martin Luther, had a problem with us saying that we could earn time out of purgatory. That all of that grace comes from God. It's nothing that we can earn ourselves. And so May has been a traditional month dedicated to Mary, and traditionally we've kicked that month off with May crowning, which means that usually on May the 1st we would have a maypole, and we'd have the crowning of Mary with a special crown and the taking of flowers to Mary as a symbol of our devotion as her children. When did I say that we usually did May crowning? On which day? May the 1st. How interesting that as a church we don't celebrate Mary on May the 1st. We don't celebrate Mary. Who do we celebrate on May the 1st as a church? We celebrate St. Joseph. Follow me now. St. Joseph gets 2 days of celebration each year. March the 19th, we celebrate St. Joseph, the husband of Mary. And then on May the 1st, the church celebrates St. Joseph, the laborer, the patron saint of workers. And so we celebrate St. Joseph, the patron saint of workers, on May the 1st, which is why many countries throughout the world celebrate their Labor Day, not in September, but when? May the 1st, when we celebrate St. Joseph. If we were to look at an image of St. Joseph, would we recognize St. Joseph? What are some of the traditional symbols that we see with St. Joseph? We often see St. Joseph with the child Jesus and or with Mary. He took Mary as his wife. We're familiar with that story? Mary was pregnant, and Joseph didn't get her pregnant, which means that she was going to be in a lot of trouble. And she took Mary into his home. They lived together, and he raised Jesus. Is Joseph present at the death of Jesus? In the Bible stories that we have, is Joseph present at the end of Jesus' life? No, which is why we presume that Joseph died before all of those events occurred, because those events mention Mary, but they don't mention Joseph being at the cross. And so Joseph, the way that we can recognize him if we see a statue of him is that he's either with the Christ child, holding the Christ child, or he has various tools used by carpenters. He was a carpenter. And so we often see him with a carpenter's square, or with a hammer, or with a saw, with various carpenter's tools. Or we'll see him with a lily. Do you see that in that image there? Why is he holding a lily? A lily is a sign of purity or of virginity, which is why young ladies used to offer lilies to Mary when they were married, or at their quinceañera, as a sign of offering Mary their youth. So Joseph can be identified then by the child Jesus, by carpenter's tools, and or by a lily. So that's Saint Joseph, whom we celebrate every May the 1st as a church. He is the patron saint of the universal church. He's the patron saint of fathers. He's the patron saint of the dying, since it's presumed that he died before Jesus died. And the patron saint of social justice. And if you were to go onto Wikipedia or any Catholic website, there is a list of all sorts of other things that he is the patron saint of, including Sicily and Peru and sailors, and the list goes on.